Yo, what's up, guys? I'm going to be taking you through 8 player props, and I've said this in other videos, but I don't control if sportsbooks move odds if they bump lines. So I try to keep these videos educational, kind of explaining the strategy, why I'm betting what I'm betting. So all I'm going to do is take you through 8 picks pretty quickly, kind of explain my reasoning. And my first pick, you can see right here, is Malika. So this is an eSports play. It's the MLB All-Star break, so a little slow. But you can see I'm on Malika under 3 kills, right? And you may be like, okay, Alex, this is kind of a random bet. Why are you on Malika under 3 kills? And the reason is, if you look at Prize Picks, they have his line at 2, right? So Prize Picks has his line at 2, Underdog has his line at 3. So it may be a little confusing, like, oh, you're betting an over and you're betting an under. But this is a pretty, important strategy if you want to be a sharp sports bettor, if you want to be a profitable sports bettor, where you're essentially just capitalizing on inefficiencies in the market, where sports books are setting their line at different levels. So all I used was the OddsJam Fantasy Optimizer. And some people would be like, you don't know anything about esports. Malika's going to go over, or Malika's going to go under. He doesn't stand a chance. But the great thing about following the data and finding middle bets is you don't need to have an opinion, right? Like, we found a massive line discrepancy, 2 versus 3. In 2 versus 3, it may seem small, but imagine if Underdog Fantasy had an NBA players line at 30 and Prize Picks had it at 20. Right? Like, that's a massive jump. 2 to 3 is massive. It's just like 20 to 30 points for an NBA player. So we found a line discrepancy. So essentially I just use the fantasy optimizer, which literally all it does is, there's nothing that complicated, is it scans all of these lines on, Underdog Fantasy, Prize Picks. There's tens of thousands of different lines, and it just points out discrepancies, right? So all it's doing is literally scanning all these different sports books, Prize Picks, Underdog, FanDuel, and pointing out really big line discrepancies, right? So Malika's line is 2 on Prize Picks, 3 on Underdog. So I took his over on Prize Picks, and I took his under, let's go back to it, and I took his under on Underdog Fantasy. So just think about it, right? If Malika has exactly 2 kills on map 1, then what's going to happen? Well, my underdog bet's going to win. I have under 3. And on Prize Picks, I have over 2. So this bet doesn't lose if he has 2 kills. It will push, right? It will be a tie, and my 5-leg parlay on Prize Picks will become a 4-leg parlay. Now, if Malika has 3 kills, Prize Picks will win, right? And Underdog Fantasy will push, and my 3-pick parlay will become a 2-pick parlay. So this, a lot of people, when they think about sports betting, they think about, all these degenerates watching sports and, placing these crazy parlays. But this is just data, right? I'm literally just following the data and looking for inefficiencies in the market. I used to be a trader, and when you're a trader, like, a lot of people probably think it's like, oh, I think Facebook stock is going to go up today. Like, that's not how it works. It's all about the data and finding inefficiencies. So it's the same thing here, right? We're capitalizing on inefficiencies in the market. I took the over 2 on Prize Picks, under 3 on Underdog Fantasy, and that's a profitable middle, right? That's a really big line discrepancy. So then you're going to see the next play is Kaori under 5, and then on Underdog Fantasy, I have him over 4. So it's the same thing. It's another big discrepancy, which you can see right here, right? Right here on the Fantasy Optimizer. Like, there's no BS here. There's no sports analysis. And I know that's crazy, but this is just data, right? This is following the data to identify edges and profitable bets. Nothing that complicated about it. But an added benefit here, so this is something I want to mention because it's important, is if you're new to betting on esports, there are a lot of games in esports, which is great, right? More games, more profitable bets, more line inefficiencies. But for esports betting, if you're playing players on opposing teams, so in this case, Kaori is on a different team than Malika, you get positive correlation, and I know that's a big word, but I'll kind of explain it, by taking players on opposing teams, 1 to go over, 1 to go under. So that may be a little confusing, but I'll kind of give you a quick example. So for example, imagine you want to create a prize picks entry and you think Mahomes is going to have a great season, right? You think he's going to go over 36.5 passing touchdowns. Well, on prize picks, it probably makes sense to take Kelsey, his main target, to go over, right? Because prize picks is a fixed payout platform. On prize picks, if you take the over versus the under, you're still getting a 3x payout for a 2-pick parlay, right? But obviously, if Mahomes has a great season and throws for 55 passing touchdowns, then Travis Kelsey probably went over 9.5 receiving touchdowns if Mahomes had a great season, right? So these are positively correlated. So it wouldn't make sense to take Kelsey's under, Mahomes over, because you can take the over, and that's positively correlated, and you're getting the same payout, right? So it's the same thing on prize picks. In eSports, when you're playing players from opposing teams, you want to take one over and one under. So that's an added benefit of this slip. First of all, it's a really big middle that I found on the fantasy optimizer, right? Full point middles, right? Imagine an NFL total being set at 50 on underdog and at 40, at 40 on underdog and at 50 on prize picks. You would be like, that's crazy. That's a huge discrepancy. And it's the exact same thing here. And the added benefit is we have positive correlation on both plays, right? If Malika goes over, then Kaori's more likely to go under. And on the other hand, if Malika goes under, then Kaori's more likely to go over. So those are the first plays I went with. And then you can see I have 3 other picks, but I'm trying to keep these videos shorter, just kind of go through the strategy, stuff like that. So feel free to reach out to me with any questions. I'll put my email in the description. Hopefully this video was helpful, guys. Let's make some money.